Hello, everyone, and a very good evening. I think we should start this session. So, first of all, I would like to welcome our today's guest, Mr. Prasanna Kidambi, Founder and Chief Innovation Officer Officer of Hoovi and Tribe. Education is basic chemistry and an entrepreneur by his own choice. Hello, sir. Welcome to the coffee break session.
Thank you.
So, moving ahead, actually, this we are very much pleased, and of course, we are very lucky to have you in our session. And as per the introduction sh- um, of yours, it's a long list, we know, and in 1 hour we can get everything from you. But of course, we will try to learn something from you. We'll try to uh, interact with you regarding your entrepreneur's journey, regarding the downfalls, regarding your success, and of course, for every viewers here, for every attendees here, it's a kind of interaction session. So it the communication should be two-way interaction. So of course, if anyone wants to say anything, ask anything, or any communication he wants to incorporate with our uh, guest, with me, with the Shimona, so just turn on your mic, say it, or you can type in the chat. So we will shout it loud, and of course, if any question is there, just say it. So our session is live now, and we have like few platforms where we have online participants and online guests also who will be asking questions. So I will be the person who will be directing the questions towards Mr. Prasanna. So welcome, Mr. Prasanna. uh, I think
Hi, good evening. Good evening, all. Uh, First of all, thank you so much for having me uh, on today's session. And let me, at the outset, I would like to say that I'm in one of my outlets today, being a Saturday. I've been asked by my team to be available at the outlet, so I'm in one of my outlets right now. So if in case it's noisy or a bit jarry, please do not get upset about it. So you know, at the outset, I would like to apologize for this
no,
inconvenience.
that's
Uh,
perfectly fine, because of course, as we say that it's coffee break Saturday. So it should be like you are in your outlet, and of course, we want to know about your outlets, how you came to that position, and of course, being in that position where you are right now is the perfect place when you can explain us and guide us. So yes, we're perfectly fine about that.
sure, sure. So, as you said, I'll wrap up a quick story from where I started and where I am right now, and moving forward, we can have it more interactive because if I keep talking about me, it doesn't sound nice. So, it's going to be an interactive chat session where I can share whatever little I know about through my life journey, and every word that I speak, it's going to come out of my experience and not through any textbook reading and stuff. So basically, to start with, see, I'm 39 years of age. I will say a few things about me which are not so nice. Um, I've never been great at academics. I've been a sports person all my life. Um, so at my age of 12, 13, I started being an entrepreneur. That was more out of necessity than out of passion. However, at that age, when you go through a life situation where you are put into a situation where you got to make your own living on a day-to-day basis, you have no choice but to, look at life differently. So I've been an entrepreneur since 12, 13, and I fast forward did my graduation in BSc chemistry. I was a bachelor's degree in chemistry. God knows, even I don't know till now why the hell did I choose chemistry at that point in time. So all that happened accidentally in life. So 2004 is when I completed and I got into banking industry. I was a banker for nearing about 11 odd years, where I learned a completely, new. It was completely a new arena for me. and I never took life seriously at that till that point in time. It was only after I got into a job, I looked at life differently. There was this inner passion for me to learn, for me to look at things, perceive more things. That's where the whole journey started. And 2012 is I was now working till 2012, 13, and I felt it was enough for me to venture out and look at things, do new things basically, because life was getting too monotonous for me. So I quit a well-paying job and jumped into a field for which I wasn't even prepared. I didn't know what it takes to become an entrepreneur, especially with respect to technology industry, because till then I have never got into any kind of technology venture. Neither I had friends who were into big tech firms, stuff like that. But that was really, really challenging for me, and I was up to challenges in my life. So I got into a venture where I started up a mobile services company. So we had a small team. I put together a bunch of people who knew technology, and then I was the main face of the organization where I go pitch into customers, acquire customers. That's my core strength. So I had a team to back me up technologically, and then I was a front end guy. So with that, I started off my tech venture. That was way back in 2013.
Hoovi.
So started off as a services company, and after a point in time, I realized that I was doing something which I really did not enjoy doing every day. So my inner process started from that point in time. Like I went back to my basics as to what I really want to do in life. Am I really solving some issues? Am I really solving some real life problems for people and make an impact? So that question was actually pricking me. It didn't let me sleep for quite some time, and finally I hit the core of it actually. So a quick story flashback of it. So when I was a kid, as I told you, I was never great at academics. So I was a sports guy basically. So I played professional cricket and stuff. So those days when we used to go and play our nets. So I lived in a very remote village down south, which is close to Pondicherry. So it used to take about 12 kilometers for us to travel one way. Those days, no money at that point in time. So I used to do cycle pulling. So I used to ask strange people to give me lift in cycles. So I used to go that way, come back like that, do my net practice, and come back. So this was again more out of necessity because I had to play my net practice. So I did this kind of stuff for about 3-4 years, and then fast forward in 2014 when I started after starting my venture and stuff. I met a scientist from Malaysia. He was in his early 60s.
Mm-hmm.
That was a path-breaking stuff for me. So this gentleman had come from Malaysia,
Mm-hmm.
and he was doing some stuff in fertility.
Okay.
So I had to pick him from airport and drop him at one of the major hospitals in Chennai called Ramachandra in Koru. So on the way, we spoke a lot of things, and out of which few things were really hitting me hard. He said, Prasanna, listen, we will have a. He said in the next 3-4 decades we will have a huge population explosion that we would need 4 times of this planet for humans to survive. Now, how on earth somebody could say that we might need 4 times of the planet? So he was quantifying.
Yes.
So all these things was like I was listening. I was just digesting whatever he was saying. And that day night when I hit my bed, I was just doing. I was going through the flashback of that discussion. I was doing a flashback. So that night I started contemplating how do I solve this problem. I'm not going to. I'm not going to help in controlling the population. Of course, that's not possible. But how do I make? How do we make this planet more sustainable for living?
Mm-hmm.
So I looked at this problem differently. Instead of cribbing about it, I felt okay. I'm going in a car with him. I don't know him because I got connected through a friend.
Mm-hmm.
He asked me to pick him up and drop him from airport and drop him at the hospital.
Uh-huh.
So I don't know this guy. I'm driving in a car which is running in fossil fuel, which is very limited. and that's one of the most major contributor towards environmental pollution,
Correct.
etc., etc. And then I had this childhood experience of doing cycle pulling. Now I connected all these dots. I felt, why not I create a technology or a platform where people can connect with each other and share rights, right? So almost 90 to 95% of the vehicles on the road, private personal vehicles
Mm-hmm.
on the road, are single occupant.
Yes,
It's just
perfect.
driver alone driving the cars.
Correct.
And if you look at the impact of the pollution that's happening for for 1 kilometer of a travel in a car, it's mind-boggling,
Yes.
right? We have huge temperature rise today. The sea level in Chennai, few days back, it went up to 15 meters inward.
15.
All these stuffs
Oh,
are happening because of climatic changes.
yes.
These are real life-threatening problems, right? So 2014 is when I started contemplating this idea, but I didn't know how to approach it because I don't have a background of working in a product company, nor I have a expertise in building a product, a technology product. All I have is a desire to do something. All I had was some bit of experience in doing services for the companies which who wanted some kind of a product, some kind of an app.
Mm-hmm.
So, but I wanted to pursue this idea because I truly believe this idea can make a change. So, and also realized that whatever I know till now wasn't enough or sufficient for me to build a product company.
Mm-hmm.
Therefore, um, it led me to a different direction or different level of aggression to acquire more knowledge about product development,
Correct.
about user experience, about user interfaces, user stories, how user stories can be more relevant to customers problem, etc., etc. So but over a period of time, I was really fortunate enough to meet the right kind of people who gave me that knowledge.
Mm-hmm.
So I started putting things together bit by bit, and in 2017 we launched our product in Chennai.
Oh,
That was a great moment for
that's
us
great. That's
actually.
great. That's great.
So yeah, so we built a product which was well crafted,
Mm-hmm.
and we kind of we started getting our traction right from day one. Um, Now, we didn't stop at that. We continuously worked on improving our platform.
Mm-hmm.
We continuously worked on solving more problems, day-to-day problems for people. So, therefore, when we did our research, when we started interacting with our existing users, we realized a lot of stuff which we didn't realize on the day one. For example, Hoovi ride sharing was a platform created to share rides between like-minded people. So
Oh.
how do we build a platform where we enable people together and we enable people to share rides who are like-minded?
Mm-hmm.
That's a question. That's a big question.
Mm-hmm.
So that led us to a concept of understanding the persona of the user without they telling anything about us.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah? So we started building avatars for users based on their interest. Then we match interest and we give them a scoring. What's your compatibility
Exactly.
with what's my compatibility with Priyadarshan? Who we will give
Like
you
different
a
kind of
percentage.
variables and all. You just match those
Yeah.
things. Mm.
So we worked around some kind of a methodology where people get to know each other, their interest, etc., etc. That helped us solve the initial barrier of traveling with strangers.
Correct. Correct.
When I was 12, 13, I never had an inhibition traveling with a stranger. But today, yes, I would definitely be, averse to strangers.
Yes.
The world
Perfect.
has become so. We have technology today, but we have lost
The
a
connection.
personal touch,
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
So these are real life problems, huh? You won't get this in textbooks.
Yes, of course. Like I am sitting here and talking and speaking to so many people, and I don't know my neighbor. This is the situation of right now of the world.
Yeah.
We don't know whether who is living beside us, but we know everyone like in the screen. So yeah, the person touch is very much missing.
Absolutely. So we solved that problem, and from there on, we pivoted into a more holistic solution. Like we started to build a chauffeur solution. We had a solution for people who did not want to take their cars to office
Hmm.
for 3 4 major reasons. So we built in chauffeur into our product. Then we built in parking solution. And Hoovi Taxi was something that we were building in 2019. That's exactly when COVID hit us so badly.
Oh.
By then we had launched our platform into four more cities
Hmm.
like Bangalore, Pune,
Congratulations.
Bombay, and Hyderabad. And we had Mr. Sunil Chetri, the Indian football team captain, to be endorsing Hoovi actually in Bangalore.
Wow.
We were supposed to be the official ride-sharing partner for BFC, Bangalore Football Club.
Hmm.
So all this stuff, all these things were really happening, and from nowhere, expect the unexpected. COVID came, and
Yeah.
it really put us into back foot. A big setback for us, not just for us, for
For
everybody.
everyone. Yeah.
So that from there on, all I knew was Hui, because it's my brainchild. I considered that as a kid that I was nurturing, and nothing else I knew other than that, because my heart and soul was just completely into that. Now here we are in standstill situation.
Hmm.
Uh, uh, Absolutely nothing to do about it. The whole world is under lockdown. Now, as I'm married, got a kid and family to run, and the cash flow dried up. You have to feed a family, etc., etc.
Perfect.
All the bills need to be paid.
Yes. Correct.
Now, that was a situation where an entrepreneur's tenacity comes into picture,
Hmm.
the spirit of entrepreneur. I think I learned more about life from 2019 than before, actually. How to face a challenge like this. So I took it in a positive spirit.
Hmm.
Thanks to good-hearted people who were around me. I would urge everybody to have at least two, three friends around you who help you raise your spirit when you're down. Very, very essential. Okay, these are priceless things. You can't buy them. So having such people will motivate. Having such people will not let you sink into your problems, and you know many things that you can go on talking. From there, so I had three passions in my life.
Hmm.
One was cricket, so I told you about it.
Yeah.
I play professional cricketing. The second was music. I'm part of a big music community here in Chennai. I'm one of the co-founders.
Wow.
It's called On the Streets.
Great.
Uh, Tomorrow we are performing 150 shows across Chennai in one single day.
150 shows
That's a
in one
big,
single day.
yeah, yeah. 2019 we did 50 shows. That was also a record actually.
Hmm.
We had people from coming from Bangalore, musicians from Bangalore, Hyderabad. It's a collaborative platform.
Okay.
So music is the second thing, and the third is tea. I love tea. So cricket, I discovered Hoovi through cricket.
Hmm.
If it was not for cricket, Hoovi wouldn't have come.
Oh, okay.
Music, and as I said, I'm part of a music community. The
Hmm.
third thing was tea. All I could relate was tea. So I contemplated more about how can I venture into an idea called tea,
Uh-huh.
and therefore Tea Tribe came into existence. And today we are two chain outlet. The third one is in the pipeline, and over the next 10 to 12 months, we'll be 50 chain outlet in Chennai.
Oh. First of all, congratulations on the very big success, and of course,
Thank you.
when we came to know about your like other passions and other hobbies. So it's a great thing, to have a person who is also an entrepreneur, also a musician, and he's doing his work in a enjoyable manner. So that's great, and of course, I can start with the one phrase that. Entrepreneur is not the person who is raising money or funds for himself, but of course raising the society with solving the problems. So I think you have given a good example of the phrase.
I will finish. I'll finish my thing with one small experience, a small story.
Sure, sure, of course.
In 2007, I met a person, an entrepreneur, quite well renowned person as well. He's built a $500 million company right from scratch, from zero. So I met him in 2007, and just like how you guys are listening to me, I did an interview, kind of a sort of an interview with him, like for 10-15 minutes. I just barged into his one of his bungalows in Boat Club, which is a posh location in Chennai,
Hmm.
and he offered me, in his lawn, he offered me a tea, and we had a nice chat. So I asked him one question, sir. You have tasted success and etc. etc. But I have one question for you. I asked him, sir, what is that one thing that an entrepreneur should have? That was the question that I asked him, for which he gave a very uncanny answer, and that really opened up my eyes. All my inhibitions,
Mm-hmm.
my complex were broken that day. So he said, Prasanna, you know what? Your father need not be Ambani or Adani. He do not look like a Shah Rukh Khan or a Madhavan, and you don't need fancy, you know, degrees from prestigious institutions. All this is, of course, needed. I mean, these are not prime. These are not primary. This is not the core.
Mm-hmm.
But Prasanna, there is one thing without which you can't even dream of becoming an entrepreneur. Now, by this time, I'm so curious to know what is that one
Yes,
thing.
exactly.
So I
Yeah.
said, Prasanna, all you need is balls.
Correct.
So,
Correct.
uh, is that really the thing that you teach? My all my cousins are like super red. One guy is a professor in Harvard. The
Mhm.
other guy is a professor, junior professor in University of California. I come from a family of highly educated people.
Mhm.
I'm the only person, odd man out, who's never been good at academics.
I think yeah,
So
they are building the society in a other way. You are building your society in other way. So
yeah,
everyone is contributing.
yeah,
You know.
yeah. So this one thing actually awakened my I would say a third eye. I would say, I looked at things very differently from there on. For any startup or for you to even start an idea, you need courage,
Correct.
right? But to pursue that idea, you need sense. Uh, both have to get married.
Yes.
Um,
Correct.
I mean, one cannot live without the other. It's like that.
Two way
Because
around.
in life, in real life, you will face situations where your logic won't help, right? So there's something beyond that.
Yes. You have to be
So
practical
you
also, and you
got
have
to
to be
find that.
like minded, as you said.
So you got to mix that properly, make the right cocktail, so that it tastes really good. Unless you truly believe in your idea, no one else will believe in your idea. No one else has a need to believe in your idea. You know.
I think you have to
So
just make them aware of the idea. That's it, and they'll know afterwards. The beautiful thing.
absolutely. So whatever idea, big, bad, big, small, good, ugly, doesn't matter. As long as you believe in it, you can make the whole world believe in it. It's
Perfect.
not at least 50% of the world.
Perfect. Of course. And I think the
Yeah,
last sentence you just said is an insight for us for today's session. You know, when you believe in your
yeah.
idea, you just need to believe that your idea will work. No one need to believe in that. So of course we will make sure to code this thing. And
And yeah, absolutely. Do not ever doubt yourself. Doubt is a very good thing, if as long as you put the use in the right perspective.
exactly.
But do not doubt yourself whether I'm capable of doing something or creating an idea. Never ever doubt yourself. Um, but it's good to have doubt at the same time, because only then you know where you lack, and you know always try to bridge the gap between what you know and what you do not know.
Perfect.
Unless you come to a realization that you do not know
Hmm.
enough,
Hmm.
will you seek knowledge,
Yes.
or will you work towards knowing things?
I think entrepreneur's journey is always try to gather knowledge, try to gather the updated version of market, what is going on, and every time we have to be in a position where we are, learning as well as unlearning. So both the things are parallel to an entrepreneur's life. So,
Absolutely.
so moving ahead, what's the main hurdle, or I can say a stoppage, where you have found your startup idea to be not getting in that perspective that you wanted, in terms of finance, or in terms of employees, or in terms of market capability.
Um, See, as an entrepreneur, see, if you have an idea, from my own experience, I'm saying, like, when I realized that Hoovi yes, is an idea that can be converted into a product, and it is a very compelling story that users will definitely get hooked onto.
Mm-hmm.
It took me almost 12 to 14 months to hit the first round of funding.
Okay.
And for that, I would have pitched into almost 100 odd investors over that 1 year period,
Mm-hmm.
and to get that first seed money uh, was the most happiest moment,
Wow.
because now you have one more person who's willing to believe in your idea. That's the sweetest moment.
Yes. Perfect.
So it is a culmination of many challenges.
Mm-hmm.
Unless you have a, unless you come from an affluent family where you have your uncle or a brother or aunt who's willing to bet on you because she because they are your relatives. It may not be because they like your idea. It's just because you are related to them. They have to take a shot.
Yeah, they have responsibilities
So
come
otherwise,
come into them.
otherwise, if as it doesn't matter whether you have a penny in your bank account or in your wallet.
Mm-hmm.
For me, on that day from the day I started that idea, I did not have any cash flows with me. From zero, I raised about a couple of crores.
Wow.
From zero, literally zero. I'm not exaggerating this. So So there are a bunch of problems. A, finance. B is putting that finance into right use. So for that you need a strategy. For that you need team and people. Getting people, right people, is not that easy, because if they are right, there are other people who are chasing them, and getting them to believe your idea, for them to invest their skin into your game, it takes a lot, right? So that is again challenge B. But if you have a team in place who believe in that idea, or you've curated that idea with a bunch of team,
Mm-hmm.
then yes, you have a synergy right from day one. Then your other problem is finance, right? So the problem is two to threefold. And then most of the millennial kids today, the success ratio of a startup today is hardly 2%.
2%. Perfect.
That means if there are 100 startup ideas, only two are able to convert that into a product. I'm not even talking about market success. They are able to convert that idea into a product. And if you look at the actual success ratio where market has accepted their idea,
Mm-hmm.
it's less than 1%.
That's huge.
Yeah. So out of 100 companies, not even one company are able to stand there, able to sustain there. So the problem could be multifold. It could be a problem which you've never even thought of. Like for example, COVID. I can't even think of relaunching Hoovi until 2023, 24.
Yes.
And the insight right now is that COVID is likely to be there till 2026, 27. It's going to come in different shapes and different
Variants.
versions. And when you connect the dots, when that scientist said in the next 3 4 decades we'll have a huge population explosion,
Mm-hmm.
I think this is one of the measure to control population.
Yes, I think in every
Yeah.
every
So
every year, every 100 years
because
we have.
because it's a bioengineered, human engineered virus, right? So it will keep enhancing itself till it reaches its logical end,
Mm-hmm.
which will take about 5 to 6 years. By then, we will have 20 odd vaccinations,
Mm-hmm.
and after that, it can become like a normal flu.
Can hope so.
So, for me, Hoovy, I put that in cold storage at this point in time for the moment, with lot of more ideas. So when I launch it, it's going to come back in a new avatar with lot more firepower.
Wow, that good to know, and that great to know that you have that belief still, and you are here to just fight back with your new ideas and new products. So that's great. That's great.
Can I, if you don't mind, can I introduce my team quickly?
Yeah, yeah,
There are
sure,
just
sure.
two people.
Of
Yeah,
course, why not?
Pradeep. Pradeep.
Please, sir, please, we are eager to
So
know.
Pradeep, call that guy, Raj. Okay, this is Raj. This is Pradeep.
Hi Raj,
And
hi Pradeep.
Pradeep, hi, sir. Pradeep takes care of our Arumbakam outlet. and he's our production head here.
Okay.
And Mr. Raj is a new kid on the block. He just joined us yesterday, and we're going to add two more people into our team. Yeah,
Good to have you in our platform, Mr. Pradeep.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So we have a next question from Shimona.
Yes, I would like to ask sir, so how you validate a customer when it
Come
comes
again.
to work? How you validate a customer?
How do you validate a customer?
Yes.
What's the context?
In context of, I think she wants to say that how you validate that your product will be good for the customer, how will you validate your market, and of course, how can you validate that your product will come up with a success.
Okay, I see everything boils down to data points. Okay, so if you want to validate an idea, first of all, you need to define which is your market, who's your target market,
Hmm.
basically. Build a demographics around it, right? And look at how big or small that market is, right? And then you start asking questions which will unearth answers for the product that you are trying to build or the services that you are contemplating. So the questions could be the questions are very contextual, right? So let's say if you want to build a data analytics company and you're building a product around it, so you need to define what's the market that you want to address.
Hmm.
Uh, Come up with an existing understanding of the market. What are the existing problems in the market, and how your product or your idea is going to solve that part of the problem, which is very critical for their business. If provided your if your idea is catering towards businesses or catering towards consumers directly. So asking more relevant questions, or in other words, sharpening your questions, is the key essential part of you having clarity first, right? You having clarity is extremely important, because clarity gives you confidence. When the whole world doesn't believe in your idea, for you to believe in your idea, you need to have clarity.
Perfect.
So clarity comes when you have data, when you have real facts with you. So for an entrepreneur, I think for you to validate, the best thing is to declutter your own imagination.
Hmm.
Keep decluttering yourself. Never be under the impression that you know something. Keep decluttering, right? Disillusion yourself every day. Make questions, sharpen questions, meet as many people, have a mentor who can bounce off your ideas, who can play the devil's advocate's role. Make those questions, because an entrepreneur will always struggle to ask questions.
Yes.
So have somebody as a mentor who can sharpen those questions and shoot at you ruthlessly,
Perfect. Perfect. In
right?
my startup
So
yatra also, and in Alibar's club, we always try to solve those kind of problems and provide the
yeah,
mentors, and we have like-minded people like you, and of course it relates a lot, it relates a lot. And thank you so much for the insight.
thank you.
So as you said that asking question is most important, solving the problem, whether it is solving the problem of the society or some or not. So how you come up with the tea idea? Because of course you can say that in market we have many varieties of tea, we already the tea has a already grown market, and you have introduced yourself into the grown market. So how have you targeted those customers? How have you came up with your minimum mpv or your product with different from others? So what's the strategy behind that?
Yeah. So the approach for this business is pretty simple. I have realized that the millennial, I mean the younger population today, so they are looking at, see, for them to get hooked onto something, it's very difficult, to capture their mind, because there are so many distractions today, and they are looking at always new things to explore. So when I look at it, there are players in the market in the tea business. So it's a highly fragmented, unorganized business. Lately, in the last few years, 3 4 years,
Hmm.
tea business is getting more organized, or rather, in other words, it's getting more corporatized. But before that, there was no brand which was a chain or a or a brand which has multi
Multi
stores.
stores, yes.
That concept is partly catching up now. However, people who started the companies, brands which started a few years back, they failed to innovate, or rather, in other words, they failed to connect with people consistently with their end
Hmm.
users. That I found as a big gap, because people's changes, people's likes and their tastes are changing day by day,
Yes.
and they want to explore more options today. So the day I decided that tea is my next baby, I worked almost 1.5 years in just doing a lot of research.
Research.
Okay, just to understand what are the what are the teas that's available globally. For me, if I don't see an idea 360
Uh-huh.
degree, I don't get convinced myself. I need to know the root of everything. So I go back to the history of when the tea was first launched, you know,
Hmm.
who invented it, how was it when it got invented. So I go to the basics of it. I visited a few estates across India
Oh.
to understand how tea is cultivated. So it's a beautiful journey where I learned the local people, the local language. For example, if you go to Assam, the terms they use for tea cultivation vis-a-vis in South are very different. The Assam tea is more spicy, whereas the Bengal tea is very raw and earthly smell.
Yes.
So the flavors. So people and the language, all this was so exciting. And India being one of the largest producers of tea, we almost export 70% of the tea, world's tea
Was.
consumption.
Yes.
And Assam is one of the
Big
biggest
producer of
producers
tea.
of tea globally. Yeah. So I did a research for almost 1.5 years.
I think that's a learning, and that's a learning from for us also. If you are being an entrepreneur, if you do have an idea, so you have to explain your idea to yourself first, how that idea came up with, and explain yourself the origination, what is the crux behind the idea. So after that you can find out more convenient way to sell your idea to the customers, because you have found the originals and you have found the updations, like what are those updates that you have to make. Because many products are there, uh, believe me, literally many products are there in the market who are being used as it is, that it was in the initial time, and it needs to update. Just because of no updation is available to us, and no changes is available to us, we are consuming or using those products. So if something
Absolutely.
or a little change is, if any little change is there, done by any entrepreneur, it will like go fast and it will break the market for sure.
Absolutely. You have to understand this. See, are you an innovator? Are you a game changer? Right? So, to put this in perspective, I would say Elon Musk is a game changer.
Hmm.
Right? He's a completely a game changer. Innovation could be, you know, re-engineering an existing thing.
Yes.
You're innovating a new thing from an existing thing,
Yes.
right?
Hmm.
So, for example, in tea, what we have done is in all our outlets, we have one unique thing is that we specialize in nut milk based teas. You name a nut, we have a tea in that.
Wow.
We extract milk from nuts, and we have a exclusive blend of tea to go with that nut milk, and we serve to our customers. Nobody in Chennai does that. This is a small innovation that we have done.
And that is the face of your product.
Yes, yes. So, the best part is, for you to scale up your business, you need to look at a model where you can automate your stuff. So almost 90% of our products are automated.
That's great.
So for us to scale up a product or a brand, you need to have an easier way of delivering those products to customers. So all the research, all the time effort that I put in here was to build a model which is which can run without me being physically there, and it can deliver products faster to the end consumer. And of course, there are many other factors like packaging, pricing,
Yes, those comes
taste,
after.
etc. etc.
I think that's great. So, for the viewers here and for online viewers who are watching it online, live, there's a thing that you can just unmute yourself or just talk straightly to our guest. You can just type your questions in the chat box so that we can straight speak the question to our guest, or you just feel free, comfortable, and it's an informal type of discussion. Just make the most out of it because we have our special guest here, and try to learn. So we have Dr. Sahadev Roy, who was trying to speak something about. So we would love to hear something from you, Mr. Sahadev.
Hi, Sadev.
Thank you, sir. It is a great opportunity that these kind of events, actually, these kind of events is required to motivate our students. And basically, when I am a student, uh, I also try to become an entrepreneur.
Oh.
But during that day, we face the problem like the monetary problems. Basically, since this type of startup
Mm-hmm.
programs is not available in the year of 2010 or 12. So it is a quite difficult task to acquire money. Now the government of India also provide the funding,
Mm-hmm.
and we also motivate our students that since I'm the failure for to doing some business or startup
Mm-hmm.
activities, so I always encourage my students that uh, go for startups. And really, the NIT Arunachal Pradesh also have a startup uh, cell, and I am the coordinators.
Oh, that's great. That's
So
great.
I fulfill my dream. I fulfill my dream to motivate our students to go with their startups. And sir, your story is very useful and motivated. I think that our students also motivated from your story. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Thanks a lot, sir.
And when we see that people are really getting something from our sessions, and we got to learn many things from our guest also, so it's the milestone that we covered. This is the happiness that we covered. It's not all about the name and fame, it's all about the changes in life that we are making. So yes, we really feel great about the knowledge that you've given, Prasanna. And thank you so much, Dr. Sahadev, for your thoughts, for sharing it. So, moving ahead, this really basic question, but this is the question that always comes up the mind when we are coming towards any entrepreneur's life journey or something. So, what are the basic fundamental thing that you provide or that you suggest to be, incorporate or to be filled with in any entrepreneur or any startup guy?
Okay. Um, See, here we are talking more about the personality of an entrepreneur, right? So, I would say, um, just be open first of all.
Mm-hmm.
Um, uh, be an observer. Try to enhance your perception. Look at the world around you from an open perspective, so you will understand, you will perceive it the way it is. There's so many
Mm-hmm.
problems that that are yet to be solved in our country.
Mm-hmm.
Um, for the kind of diverse population we have, for the kind of cities which are overflowing with population, there are different levels of
Correct.
need for
Correct.
people. Okay? But today we have technology in our hands. So if you're someone who is not tech savvy, just exactly like me, because I come from a totally different background. Um, to give you an example, when in 2007-8, when I read a newspaper which was lying on the floor, there was this big title, big the title of that newsletter was cloud computing.
Uh-huh.
This was in 2007-8. So when I looked at it, I was wondering why would people sit in the cloud and compute? So that I was that naive. Okay, I was that naive. From that day, the tech bug actually caught me. I wanted to know what the hell is this cloud. So, I was that naive. So you don't have to worry about what's your background, past, and stuff like that. Um, Basically, you got to be true to yourself. You got to be ruthlessly true to yourself. You can't. You should be the last person to fake yourself.
Yes.
That's the first discipline I would say to have, because we're talking about personality here, right?
Perfect.
So being honest with yourself is very, very critical in terms of if you're someone who's building something from scratch up, from bottom up. If you're privileged enough to have a dad or a family, affluent family to give you that first round of funding,
The umbrella.
then just forget about whatever I'm talking. Okay, you're anyway you're going to land up into funding. Your idea is going to see some light at the end of the
Yeah,
day.
yeah.
But this is more relevant for people who will probably have a journey like me, where you have nothing and you start up from there. So being honest to yourself with yourself is a first parameter, I would say. Now, how do you quantify what is being honest? Because these are very superficial things, abstract things.
Exactly.
I
Exactly.
mean, just listen to your heart. Just listen to your heart, because that's the only way you will know what the truth is. So that's a first step to start with. Second is have some really, really solid friends, at least two people with you. If not many, just two. You can't have more two people, because if you have too many and call them true, it's not fact.
It's not
It's
fair.
actually
Yeah.
not true.
It's not fair.
So no matter how much technology comes, you'll still have very handful friends. So have them always bounce your ideas with them. That's the easiest way to validate your ideas, right? Or it could be even a mentor,
Perfect.
right?
Perfect.
Third thing is just believe, yeah, just believe in that.
I think yeah, self belief is the
There's nothing
main
more
main
to,
main foundation of any.
and have a ritual for that. Don't ever get complacent, because complacency will make you lazy.
Mm,
It make you lazy because when you're chasing your dreams all alone, you tend to become complacent. You tend to postpone things. This happened to me. So don't become complacent, and that's why I said have two friends who will kick your back when you're complacent, right?
correct.
So these are very, very important to for an entrepreneur who is starting scratch up. Again, I put that in quotes. Okay, having the right set of people around you, friends, could be mentor, it could be your family, could be your parents, anybody. I mean, go to an extent where people, say, let's stop, please stop for some time, take a break, get obsessed with that idea. If you're not obsessed with that idea, then it's
It's
not
another
an idea.
idea. Perfect.
But again, mix it with a bit of sense, with a pinch of sense into it, because you can get obsessed with about everything, anything on the planet, which do not make even sense. Yeah.
So that is the
So
reason I think we need friends beside us to validate. And one more thing, when we are speaking about friends, so someone great person. I was just reading a quote that show me your friends, I will show your future. So this is
yeah.
exactly, yes, this is the exactly quote that we all should endure and endorse. That yeah,
See,
we
these are intricate things that I wish to share, because no matter you know how intelligent you are, no matter how what's your college or education, you might be even from IIM, IIT, the best premium institutes in the world, but still, if you lack the basics in life, uh, you will not be able to fully exploit the potential that you're blessed
correct,
with this and this.
correct.
And you know what? End of the day, you have a very limited time in your life, whatever you are referring to as life.
Chine ke 4 din, and of course it is. Like we have to
Yeah.
make every moment, countable. We have to enjoy also, and we have
Yeah.
to work towards our goal. So yeah, we can't waste the time in terms of wasting. Of course, there's a line that when you think that your time is wasting, at that moment of time it's actually wasting. And you when don't think it's wasting and you are doing nothing, that means at least you are giving time to yourself and it's not wasting. So yeah, you should be always thinking of positive and be a like-minded people.
Absolutely. Well said.
So we have a question from our audience today. We have Purushottam Saha. He asking a question. So let me read that for you. When we start thinking of our own startup, after some days of progress in our own startups, we find it difficult and we start losing interest. Will I be able to complete?
Um, I mean, I didn't get the name of that person, but whoever it is,
Purushottam Shah.
I would say, yeah, I would say, um, don't worry about that problem because 90%, 99% of the startups have the same issues. There is this kind of lack of interest that kind of creeps in after a point in time. That is exactly when you need to go back to why you first of all started that idea. The why of that product or the question or whatever you're doing is extremely critical. You should know why the hell you first of all started it. If the why is super compelling for you to put your life into it, then you know what, whenever this kind of complacency or boredom sweep creeps in, you can pick yourself up from that because you will immediately realize that why the hell you first started it. So you need to keep reminding yourself, it's kind of an existential question, why you are alive.
Correct.
So when you ask a question to yourself, why you started it, then you will get the necessary motivation again to start from where you left. Because this is not something that is unique for yourself. Almost all startups go through this kind of a phase. That's when you need a team who can lift each other at times of in times of difficulties or tiredness or boredom. You know,
Perfect. Perfect. So
you need the right team to complement in such a way that each other lift in times of difficulty.
yes, uh, I think this is the most important part.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, thanks Purushottam.
I would say 90% of the problem will be solved if only you understand the science of identifying your co-founder. I would say the science of identifying a co-founder.
I think this makes our third, the last question of this session, and that's important. So, what are the essence and spices that we require for finding the co-founder?
That you got to figure out. It's a very very subjective thing. All I could say is keep that in mind that you need some recipe that needs to work. The recipe could be completely up to your taste. You can spice it up. You can add more salt to it depending on your taste buds. But you need a recipe.
Yes,
All I'm trying to remind you is think of that recipe first.
correct. It's depend on the situation. It's depend on the surroundings, and also depends on the product that we are working. So, of course, but the main thing is we also require a partner or a co-founder with it to make this idea happen. And it's
Yeah. So to put that in perspective, sorry to break you there.
Mhm.
One of the essential qualities I would say is, let's say, if you are a techie person you are passionate about technology, and your co-founder is someone who can be the front end, who can be that face of articulating that idea or identifying the problems that your technology can address or can innovate the idea. Then you both complement each other because one is good at one thing, the other one is good at something
I
else.
think that's
You need to
called the
find
filling the
that
gap. I think,
balance.
like you have initially told us
Yeah,
that we
yeah,
should fill the gaps. So I
yeah,
think this is the initial aspect of filling the gaps.
yeah. Yes.
Perfect, perfect. So we came to an end with the session, and my name is Saikat Das, all the way from United Kingdom. Uh, the weather is not that much good, but yes, of course, we are surviving. Yes, and thank you so much. Mr. Prasanna, for your time, your valuable time, in fact, and those insights that we always required. And in 1 hour is I know that it's not enough for any of the person to grasp everything, but we we found the insights, we found the exact elements that we require for any entrepreneur and startup. So really, thank you so much for your time. Thank you, NIT Arunachal Pradesh, for participating and for being with us in the whole journey of the session. Thank you, Dr. Sahadev Roy, for your cooperation. And last but not the least, thanks a lot, My Startup Yatra and the Early Birds Club for making it happen. So
And thank you so much for thank you so much for having me on this session. I really enjoyed interacting with all you people and for to all the participants and all the aspiring entrepreneurs. My best wishes and all the success in your endeavor on your endeavors. And hope you all rock and make our country proud. Thank you so much.
thank you so much. It was a pleasure.
Thank you all respected speakers. On
Pleasure.
behalf of National
Take care.
Institute of Technology,
Take care,
Arunachal
guys,
Pradesh.
and see you soon
I
again
think
in
Mr.
another show.
Sudipta Chatterjee wants to say something. Sorry, sir. Please.
Okay.
Actually, on behalf of a part of National Institute of Technology, Arunachal Pradesh, we are very much enjoying the session and thanking to all the team, all the experts for your valuable speech. We really enjoyed the session and hope we will organize this kind of program with Tribe very soon. So please, we want all the entire team for our very coming program. So thank you everyone for this beautiful session.
Thank you so much, Mr. Sudipta, for for valuable insights and comments. And we will be there. We are always there with every entrepreneurs and startups, and of course, we will be looking forward to work with NIT Arunachal Pradesh each and every time. So, and thank you to you. Thanks to Mr. Prasanna for for making it happen. So, thank you so much, and be safe.
Thank you. Thanks a
Bye
lot.
bye.
Stay safe. Take care. Bye bye.